In this brand new series, I'm going to be teaching you guys all about creating routines for your repertoire and teaching you some of the best secrets to build out incredible 3-trick routines for all kinds of different scenarios. In today's video, we're going to be looking at an incredible bang for your buck routine, which has several different routines I've taught right here on the channel that you can combine together to perform in any situation and absolutely blow minds. The best part is, it's super easy. What is good, guys? It is Reed and welcome back to a super special video. I am so excited to announce my brand new series, Repertoire. Welcome to episode 1 of Repertoire. Now, what is Repertoire? Well, Repertoire is my brand new series that I am starting on the channel, which is all about creating routines for you guys to use. Now, on YouTube, there is so many card trick tutorials, there's so many tricks, so many bad tricks, or so many tricks that just no one's gonna use. There's just endless amounts of tutorials. And let's be honest, most of the stuff you learn you probably don't use. So I think a really big gap in the knowledge base on YouTube is how to create routines, how to work tricks together, different effects and that sort of thing. So the idea of this series is I will be combining 3 different effects, ideally 3 effects that I've taught here on the channel so you can go and learn them and then perform this routine. But I will be combining 3 effects into an opener, a middle, and a closer. I'll go through why I think they work well structured this way, how to perform them, how to tie them together, what the theme of the routine could be. I'll show you performances of each effect. I'll show you how to transition, what all the plot points should be, pros and cons of this routine, my tips and tricks, and what performance environments it is best suited for. So you can go out, learn these tricks, put them together, and have seriously cohesive and structured routines that you can go and perform to your friends, families, and even at gigs. These are going to be great routines. I want these to be some of your go-to routines. We've all been there when someone says, hey, show me a trick, and you can't decide what to perform. I want these routines in this Repertoire series to be something that you learn and be your go-to, and you say, you know what, they want to see something, let me show them this routine from episode 1 of Repertoire, or this routine from episode 5, and you're going to have these routines down. You're going to know what they're best performed for. We're going to have impromptu routines, routines with setup, mentalism routines, easy routines, sleight of hand routines, routines for groups, routines for stage, close-up, all kinds of different routines I'm going to be breaking down. Ideally, I'd like these to be exclusively using effects that I've taught here on the channel. I'm sure from time to time I'll have to pull in another effect from here or there, maybe something that I can teach, maybe something that I can point to you where to learn, but regardless, this is going to be a super valuable video. Not only will there be some awesome tutorials and you'll get to learn these incredible routines, there'll be a ton of information on how to structure and create your own routines, and you'll kind of see the creative process on how I go through creating routines for my own professional repertoire. In this episode, we will be covering the bang for your buck routine. The idea of this is something that is extremely practical, a real worker that is pretty simple and beginner friendly, which will allow you to focus on the presentation and the cohesiveness of the routine, letting the incredible magic speak for itself, knock them out of the park, but without having to stress too much. This is great for, your first time showing magic to a new group, making a first impression when you might have some nerves on you. This is what that effect is all about. The best bang for your buck routine is what we're going to start with in episode 1. Like I said, we'll see some performance, we'll have discussion, I'll talk about plot points. It's going to be a jam-packed episode. Let me know what you guys think of this series. Are you excited for this series? If you have any ideas of how I can improve the series, please let me know. Overall, just let me know what you think of this series and this idea down in the comments below. I would love to hear your feedback. But let's not waste too much more time. This is going to be a jam-packed video. Lots of stuff to get to. So if you guys would like to check out a private lesson, that is linked down in the description, or if you would like to join my mentalism membership, linked right up here or down in the description. And with all that said, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the video. Alright guys, so let's start with a routine overview. So what is the purpose of this routine? So the goal of this particular routine, which I've kind of dubbed the bang for your buck routine, the goal is to have something that is super practical. That is the first important thing. We want the routine to be practical, can be performed anytime, anywhere, with just your deck of cards and very few extras. It's got to be easy, practical, a real worker. It's got to be simple. I want this to be beginner friendly, something that you can pull out anytime, anywhere. You're super confident to be able to knock this routine out of the park, hit a home run and absolutely fry the minds. It's perfect for those situations where you're a little bit nervous or you're trying to make a great first impression and you just want to pick a routine that's going to kill. You don't have to think about it, you just go and you do it. I also want this to be something that can be quickly reset, is great for kind of strolling, walk around style magic. Ultimately, I just want it to be minimal, but I didn't want it to suffer. I didn't want the impact of the routines to suffer. So I've handpicked these 3 tricks to build into this routine for our repertoires to be extremely hard-hitting but simple routines. So the opener effect for this routine is going to be the transposition. This effect is absolutely incredible, a perfect opener. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So to perform the transpo, all we need is our deck of cards and a duplicate, and the only sleight of hand is a double lift. Now our second trick in this routine is going to be 2-card Monty, an incredibly captivating effect that is a beautiful centerpiece to this routine. We don't need anything special for this routine. The only sleights we need are a very easy triple lift and a top change. And finally, the closer, ironically, is the Chicago opener. And I'll explain all about why I've made that decision in a minute. But for now, the only thing we need besides our deck to perform this is another card with a different back design. And the only sleight of hand we need is a double lift and a card force. Now, I want to roll a quick performance of me performing these 3 routines. A quick pause in your regularly scheduled program. I just want to let you guys know that I offer one-on-one virtual private magic lessons, perfect for beginner to advanced magicians and mentalists looking to improve their technique, sleight of hand, learn any of my best effects, learn the fundamentals of card magic, mentalism, or absolutely anything. This is the best value in magic in terms of getting you to become a better magician. I can sit with you one-on-one, tell you exactly what you personally need to work on, and teach you a bunch of the incredible material that I perform in my professional repertoire. If you decide to take a lesson with me, you will get 24/7 personal contact, you'll get custom curriculums, personally tailored effects. Every lesson you will get a downloadable recording, giving you something you can keep with you forever and always return to learn at your own pace. Over on my website, I have a bunch of reviews and testimonials, both video and written form, that you guys can check out. And if you'd like some more info or to book a lesson, all you have to do is head over to the link in the description, or feel free to send me an email at rf.sleights@gmail.com. Now, back to the video. I went back and forth. Should I do a studio performance doing them all back to back? Or would it be better for you to see me doing live performances of these? And I always think live performances are better. So these weren't structured in the way we're gonna structure this routine. These are separate clips of me performing this, but you will see how incredible each one of these effects is and kind of ultimately get the sense of how amazing they're gonna be together. So let's roll those now. Can you pull one out for me? They're all different, just grab one, anyone you want. All right, just sign it, anything you want, your name, whatever. On the front, yeah. All right, watch. Here's what we'll do. So your card was the Queen of Diamonds. Hold out your hand for me like that. Take your other hand, put it on top.
Wait, I didn't film that.
All right, watch.
Magica.
I'm gonna take the next card, King of Diamonds, okay? Watch. Can you just pulse your hand, just up like this, just a little bit, yeah.
Be gentle.
Just focus on the card.
No. Do another one.
So everyone knows the Ace of Spades. I had a few people sign this earlier, but this is the money card. This is the card we got to follow, okay? Ace of Spades. So here's what I want you to do. You're gonna hold your hand like this for me, okay? Now watch, the Ace of Spades goes right there. Where's the Ace of Spades? You weren't watching, where is it? Right there. Are you sure? What if it wasn't? You're not allowed to cheat though, you're not allowed to cheat. You're not allowed to cheat, but I'll let you look this one time just to make sure it's still there. It's still there, it's still there. Show him, it's still there. All right, now this is what I'm gonna try to distract you with, the Ace of Clubs. It looks really similar, okay? So watch. I come in and I switch it once, but then I switch it back. So now you still have the Ace of Spades. Take a look. I'll let you look one more time, take a look. You can show everyone. Still the Ace of Spades, right? Okay, watch. Now this time, hold it back, face down. This is where it happens. Watch slowly. This time I'm gonna switch it. Okay, watch, switch it. So now you have the Ace of Spades. Now where is it? Did I distract you well enough? You know where it is? Top or bottom? I think I got you. Does anyone know top or bottom? Bottom?
I think it's top.
This is why you never gamble with a magician. Flip them over. Show everyone.
Would you help me out? Please, if you're not too busy, just pick a card, any card. Anyone will be fine. Oh, good one. Take a look at it. Remember what it is. Hold it up high. Let everybody see. And then, if you will, I'd like you to put it back into the deck. Just call out stop wherever you'd like to place it.
Stop.
Perfect. Watch closely. Lost, but not forgotten. What I have to do is pass the hands over the pack. Believe it or not, one card will change color. Just like that. It's done. So they're all red on the backside except for one card. Ooh. And you know what? That's the only card that changed color. Now, any card could have changed color, but only one specific card actually made the change. What was the card you selected?
Jack of clubs.
Jack of clubs. That's all there is to it. Works every time. That's weird, isn't it? Sometimes I do this, people think, oh, you just got lucky. Well, I did. I'm going to press my luck. I'm going to try for 2 in a row. Yeah. Would you mind helping me out? I'll just shuffle through. Anytime you'd like at a random location, just call out the word stop.
Stop.
Perfect. Take a look at the card. In fact, I'll let everybody see it. I won't look. See what it is? You got it? And I'll try the same mystery again. Just like before, a little pass of the hands. One card changes color. One card. One card should be blue. Whoops. Do you see it? You don't see the blue card? No. I was hoping you'd say that. Take a guess. What do you think that card might be?
King of Spades.
Absolutely, positively. Good one. Good.
So now that you've seen the performance, let's jump into a very quick overview and breakdown of the routine. So the breakdowns in this series are not really going to be tutorials unless there's a brand new effect that I haven't taught before. They'll mostly be me quickly running through a very, very brief tutorial of all the effects and any extra ideas that you need to kind of combine the routines together, such as certain setups and stacks and resets and all that kind of thing. Let's hit the card table and jump into that now. All right, guys, so this routine, the brilliant thing is that you can set this up extremely easily and have a stack that is completely set up and ready to go to perform this routine. You don't have to fumble trying to find cards in the middle of the routine. You just set it up and you're ready to go. You could also set this up on the fly pretty easily, but ultimately this is why this routine works so well. First things first, what do we need? Let's grab our black aces and our red kings for the 2-card Monty. Then you want to grab your set of duplicates for the transposition. Then you're going to grab your Chicago opener card. So this can be any other card from your other deck with a different back design. And then you're going to grab that same card out of the red deck. Okay? Now your setup is very, very simple. You are going to take the regular red back card for Chicago opener and set it on the bottom. Then you'll take the different backed card that matches for Chicago opener and set that on the bottom. Now you'll turn the deck face down and you're going to set the ace of clubs, the 2 red kings, and then the ace of spades. Now you will set your 2 duplicates and you are ready to go. This is the stack that you need to perform all of these routines ready to go. So from the top we have 2 duplicates, then we have ace of spades, the 2 red kings, and the red ace. And then on the bottom we have our 2 8 of spades. The one from the different deck goes on the very bottom. Now that is one of the reasons I love this routine so much. We're gonna call this stack the Murphy stack. I'm not gonna explain why, but if you know, you know. So once we're in the Murphy stack, we're ready to perform. This is super easy to set up and get ready to go. To begin the effect, we're gonna spread the cards and have them pick out a card somewhere from the middle for the transpo. When you're doing the transpo, it's always a great idea to have them pick a card that they can see. It'll prevent them from wanting to pick a card at the top or the bottom. It'll hide the back design of that indifferent card. Just make sure you don't spread too far and show the 8s. So just kind of spread like this and say, here, pick one out of the middle. You can always do from a face down, but I love the free choice of having them pick one from a face up deck. So they're gonna reach in and they're gonna take one out and make sure that they sign this card. Draw on it, make it unique. right? If you have your Sharpie, that's a great thing to add. If you don't have a Sharpie, no worries, but if you do have a Sharpie or a pen, it's a great thing that's gonna really enhance the transpo. Now again, this is the tutorial for the transpo. It's gonna be very brief. If you need an in-depth tutorial, I'll link a tutorial for the transpo right up here, and throughout the video, I'll be linking all the other tutorials up above or down in the description in the cards. So as they're doing that, you're gonna turn your wrist towards yourself and flip over our first duplicate. So it's face up on the top, we're gonna get a break under it, and we're gonna conceal it to ourselves. Now, once they're done signing it, we'll take back our 2 of diamonds and covertly set it on top of the duplicate like this. We're gonna grab both cards at our break, perform our double lift, and have them hold out their hand, set that card in their hand, and take their other hand and have them put that on top, sandwich it, and keep it tight. And then we'll emphasize that they are holding on to their card. Now we'll say, you know what, I'm just gonna take whatever the next card is, and I'm gonna perform a double lift. Now I have one of our duplicates, which I will now turn down, take into my hands, and at this point I would set the deck in my pocket or set it away, and now I would add some process here, really kind of hype up this moment. You have your card, I have mine. Do a little subtlety, take a look, say no, it didn't work yet. Keep pulsing. You need to be something that makes the magic happen with the transpo when it's actually going to switch. Okay, no, it didn't switch yet, but when I snap, okay, now it's switched, and now you'll turn and you'll reveal, look, I have your card and you have mine. Transpo is a beautiful routine that will absolutely fry them. It is so strong, such a great opener. So that's how we'll start. Now, I would hand them this card to keep. That's gonna be their souvenir. I'm gonna take our duplicate, lose it in the middle. We have another duplicate on top, which I'm going to slip cut into the middle of the deck, and now I'm ready for 2-card Monty. They have this card, their signed card, ready to go. Now I explain that we want to play a little game of 2-card Monty. So in this case, I want them to follow the ace. So I just push over the next card, it'll be the ace. So I say the ace of spades is the money card. I want you to follow that card. So I say hold your hands like this. Remember, they want to hold it with their palm facing up, and I put the card in their hand like that. Now, as I place the card in their hand, I'm going to casually spread over and get a break under those top 3 cards to get ready for my triple lift for the ace of clubs. And again, I'll link a full tutorial for the 2-card Monty up here. But how crazy would it be if I were to have changed that already? And they'll say crazy, and I'll say, okay, take one last look. Say, all right, perfect. Now remember, no cheating because this is a gambling game, but I'm gonna try to distract you with the ace of clubs. Now I perform a triple lift, turn that over, and I push off the top card, which is now a king. I come over and I say, watch, I'm gonna switch it once quick and then switch it back. So you still have the ace of spades, take a look. They'll take a look, they still have the ace. And I say, now this time, let me switch it. I'm gonna switch it, so now I have the ace of spades and you have the ace of clubs. I'm gonna perform a top change. So I come down, I top change, and I say, remember, you have the ace of clubs, I have the ace of spades. And I just execute the top change, switching it for the other king. I place that king on top, and I say, all right, hold that in between your hands, okay? Now, if you had to guess, is the ace of spades on top or bottom? Whatever guess they say, you say, this is why you never gamble with a magician. Snap your fingers, turn it over, and you have switched them for both kings. Now again, I'm going through extremely quickly the moves, all the subtleties, all the scripting. I'm just doing extremely high level, so I would highly recommend you go check out all the tutorials for these routines. Now that that is done, you can simply place those back on top of the deck or into the middle of the deck, and you are ready to go for your last routine that is still set up on the bottom of the deck, the Chicago opener. So for this routine, you'll have them select another card, remember it, this will be the 4 of clubs. They'll set it on top of the deck, and then you're gonna cut it into the middle and mix up the cards as much as you like. Now, what you're gonna say is, I'm gonna try to find your card in a very unique way. I'm gonna make one of the cards change, and I should be able to find it, watch. And with a snap, if I spread through, you can see there's one card that has a different back, and you're gonna cut this to the top. Now you're gonna perform a double lift and show them that their card was the one that changed. Now this happened to be one of the duplicates from this deck, but it doesn't have to be, right? So that you do a double, you say, look, your card is with that back design. So we'll leave that 4 of clubs over here, and now our force card, if you follow that sequence, will be ready at the bottom. So now you're gonna perform a force of this card. So you could do the Hindu force, just call stop, and do like that, or I would probably do a riffle force. So I would just cut the card to the middle, and I would say, here, call stop, stop right here. Okay, this time remember this card, we're gonna try again. So you're gonna show them that card, you can shuffle the cards, and you say, watch. Looking for a card with a different back, nothing there, snap again, still didn't work, watch this. And it changes into the 8 of spades, and that is your incredible closer. So that's a quick breakdown of the routines. I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of other ideas in my tips and tricks, but for now, we will leave it at that. Here's a full tutorial on the Chicago opener if you want to learn it in more detail, but that's a quick overview of the stack and the tutorial for each one of these effects. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the structure of this routine and why I chose to structure it this way. So for me, the two best hitting effects of this routine are Chicago opener and the transpo. In my opinion, oftentimes I find the transpo plays better. The thinking here is you want to structure it sort of like you would write an essay. Your closing arguments are your strongest, your second strongest arguments are at the beginning, and your middle piece is your weakest. Now, Monty is not weak by any means, and I think it's perfect because it involves a bit of a game, so it's perfect for that second phase. The first phase, transpo, is super quick, extremely easy to understand, extremely easy to follow. It doesn't take long to get into. They get to sign a card, so their attention is captivated right away. They're going to be intrigued by that first trick because of the signed card. You just perform the trick, boom, it's a hard-hitting, quick piece of mind-blowing magic. If you sell it with some of the subtleties that I talk about in the tutorial, you will absolutely kill. So it's a perfect opening effect. I use this to open so often. The second phase 2-card Monty is brilliant because it's a game, right? It captures their attention. It keeps them captivated. Once you've gotten their attention, you've hooked them in. Now it's like, you know what? Let's play a little bit of a game. Let's have a little bit of fun here. And you still have that incredible kind of closer, and it ties in nicely with transpo because in a way, it's a transpo. It's kind of the perfect tie between transpo and a card change like what's going to happen in Chicago opener. They're all similar transpo style things, but they work well because they all got different plots. Now, segueing into the closer of Chicago opener, I chose to close with this because I think if you did Chicago opener and then transpo, the Chicago opener would telegraph what's going to happen too much with the transpo. I often find that transpo hits a little bit harder, but to be honest, I think they're pretty much equal. I don't perform Chicago opener, barely, just because I prefer doing the transposition. But what happens with the transpo, if you do it first, is that Chicago opener isn't really telegraphed by the transposition. So I think that surprise moment is just the perfect closer. Yes, Chicago opener is a great opener. That's why it's called Chicago opener. But trust me, try it as a closer, particularly in this routine. It's a little bit longer than the transpo, so I think the transpo is better to capture them quickly with the opener. Chicago opener, you kind of have two phases, right? And then that surprise ending will catch them off guard, and it's kind of the perfect crescendo for this routine. So that's kind of why I chose to structure things in this way. Now let's talk about plot and transitions, how to transition through these routines and what the plot could be of this overall routine. I honestly don't think you need or it's worth having a plot for these style of effects. If you did want to have a plot, I think the easy plot is to talk about transpositions, right? So this first one, you say, look, I want to show you how I can manipulate matter to do something pretty cool. And then you perform it and you say, look, so that was how I can kind of manipulate matter to change places, but I want to take this up a level. We're going to play a bit of a gambling game, and I want to see if you can catch the moment when I switch these cards. And now they'll think you're meaning switching the two aces, and they'll never see you switching it for the two kings, right? So that kind of ties in really nicely. And then you say, you've seen me do this with a couple of cards, but I want to take this up one more level. I want to do this with not only the face of the card, but I want to do it with the backs of the cards as well. And let me show you what I mean. Then you have them pick the card for the Chicago opener, and then you snap or whatever, and you say, look, I've changed the back, I've transposed the back design of one of these cards. It just happens to be your card. Then you go into the second phase. So that's how I think you could tie it in with a plot, though I don't think it needs it. If you use the plots that I talk about in the video, I think they kind of already flow really well if you look at the original tutorials. And I think the plot can kind of be, this is my card magic. This is a simple demonstration of my skills showing you card magic, right? The magic kind of speaks for itself in that sense, where it's like, watch, these are the skills I can perform. Here's your card, boom, it changes places. Like, I really feel like these routines speak for themselves, and you can see that when I perform them in the live performances, the transpo pattern is very simple. I don't really say what's going to happen. I just do a lot of acting when it comes to that moment of me pulsing the hands and all these things for when it's going to happen. Then with the Monty, there's a really fun plot already built into it with the gambling game. And I think a lot of those subtleties are super important. So if you aren't familiar, go watch that video because it's very important, and I totally glossed over them in this one. Chicago opener, I think there's a lot of ways you can take it. I've always, again, liked to keep it very basic, like the transpo. Let the magic breathe and speak for itself. Hey, pick a card. Watch, I'm gonna try to find your card in a unique way. Here, if I just snap, if we look through, there's one card that's changed. It's your card, right? That whole kind of deal. And then at the end, here, watch, let me try it again. Now you know what to look for. And then we have the incredible surprise. In terms of transitions, honestly, again, I just think this type of routine with these type of effects, this might seem lazy as me, you know, I put in all the work for this video, and my answer for both of the plot and the transitions are, you don't need them. But I kind of think that's the same deal with the transitions. I gave you some ideas for the transitions when I went through kind of the plot a second ago with talking about transpositions, but I don't think you need an elaborate storyline to these. I think they're best served when you let them breathe. And the problem with these routines is because they're so similar, unless you carefully structure it like I kind of talked about a second ago, if you're not careful, you can actually give away what's going to happen in the next trick, right? If you try to say, oh, here's me changing one card, let's see if you can catch me do it next time, or let me try to do it this way and see if you can spot, like, I don't like the way that it kind of telegraphs, and I think you're going to take away from the surprise of the next routines if you don't carefully script it in a way. Like transitioning from transpo to Monty, if you say, try to catch me switch the cards, I think that's great because they're gonna think it's switching the aces. But if you say like, try to catch me, see when I'm gonna make the cards change, well now when they're standing at this moment at the end, I think it could telegraph it because it's the same. They were just standing with one card in the trick before. And then Chicago opener, you have a similar issue. So I would just be careful with how you script it. But honestly, I think this is one of those routines that it's best to breathe. But I think if you want to have something to talk about, I personally would take those scripts that I've taught in each of the tutorials for these effects and just kind of use those premises. And then if you want to tie them in fully, I gave you some ideas on kind of using the concept of a transposition to tie them all together. So let's talk about now the pros and the cons for this routine. The pros are it packs extremely small and it plays extremely big, right? It is such a simple routine. You just need a deck of cards, a duplicate, and an extra card from another deck. It's so easy. You can have that in your card box at all times. You can have the extra card and the duplicate in the cellophane. What I always do with my duplicate and my extra card, I always turn them face up on top of the deck, and then this goes into the card box where this is face up on top. It goes into the card box like this, and then when I'm performing, I will just keep those two back in the card box, take out my regular deck, and then when I need them, they're always in the card box ready to go, but I leave them face up just so I remember. The second I open the deck, I can see, oh, these are for Chicago opener, this is for a duplicate, right? It's great because it can be set up on the fly, and I'm gonna talk about reset and setting up on the fly in a second in my tips and tricks, but it has that quick reset and it can be set up on the fly, which I think is great. It's easy, practical, it's a worker, guys. This is a one that you can go table hopping. You could do this over and over and over, absolutely kill. It's so simple, it'll allow you to focus on your presentation, focus on, you know, having a dialogue with the audience and not having too much pressure. If you have to go make that first impression, this is something you can do. So the cons are, for me, it's not completely impromptu, it's not 100% impromptu, though a 100% impromptu regular deck, no duplicates, no gimmicks, nothing sort of routine will be coming in this series at some point. That is a little bit of a con in my eyes. Just you have to make sure you have the duplicate and you have the extra card for Chicago opener, right? And so that's a little bit of a hindrance where you could always end up in a situation where you don't have a deck, but someone gives you a deck and then you can't exactly perform this routine, right? Another con is I think it's just a little bit too card heavy, right? It's just card, 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 card. Again, this is my preference. For me, as a magician mentalist, I would add a little bit of mentalism if this was perfect. But again, these are just cons just to give you something to think about. Doesn't mean it's bad by any stretch. I'm just giving you different ideas, different things to think about. And then I think it's just very simple. Like it's very simplistic. Maybe some would say it's too simplistic, but I generally think that's a good thing in a lot of ways. You just want to always think about how that fits in with the rest of your character and how you're performing. Now, my favorite part of these videos are going to be the tips and tricks. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of tips and ideas on these effects. So actually, it's pretty incredible, the reset for this effect. So if you follow this sequence, you'll actually end up in a pretty unique position. So if a card is picked, you perform the transpo, so it'll look like this. I'll just perform it extremely quickly so you can see, so the cards change. Now if you set the duplicate back on top, it'll go right on top of another duplicate. They can keep this card, or you just set it into the middle of the deck. Now you have your duplicates on top. We need to be ready for Monty, so you're gonna strip those two cards somewhere into the middle. Now your Monty setup's on top. You're gonna hand them the ace, do the triple, do the switch, do the top change, and then they'll have the two kings. The two kings you can set on top of the deck once you're done, which will go on top of the aces. Now they'll pick a card, set it on top of the deck, and you're gonna, you know, begin to cut the card for Chicago opener. Then you're gonna spread through, and you're gonna cut this to the top, and you know, reveal that it was their card and set this down. Now you go and you do your Hindu force or your riffle force. They remember that, and you throw it on the deck and you flip it over. So the position you'll be in is this. But if you look through the deck, a lot of the cards are all still in order. So you can go through the cards and you'll find your 2-card Monty setup all together. You'll also find your 2 duplicates together. So what I would do is I would quickly cut the 2-card Monty set to the top. Then I would go through, find the 2 duplicates and shift them or cull them to the top. So let's say I just shift them to the top like that. Now I'm gonna spread through one last time and find that 8 of spades. Set that on the bottom, right? That matches the Chicago opener card. Then go to the top, and all I need to do is shift the ace of spades in front of the kings, set that Chicago opener card on the bottom, and we're reset. Right? All the cards are together. So you see how easy that would be to set up on the fly? So it's really great for reset. And along with that quick reset, like, it isn't hard to set up on the fly. You can go through, cull the cards, cut them to the top, and just pretty much set it up under the guise of, you know, I'm looking for something, or I'm looking for a specific card in the deck, right? You don't have to think much of it. Now, I did say this can't be done impromptu, but there are a few things you can do if you ever run into a situation where you have a borrowed deck and you really want to perform this and you don't have your own cards, or you don't have a duplicate and a different back. What you can do is, if you have a set of jokers, you could use that if they're identical for the transpo. Or you could also use that for the Chicago opener and scribble on the back of one of the jokers or write a word or something, right? Like your card on it or something. Now you can perform Chicago opener with those duplicate jokers. You could do that. So that's just a quick idea if you get stuck on the fly. A key tip, again, some of the little subtleties that I think are super important that I'm just going to reiterate quickly. With the transposition, I kind of talked about this. When the cards are like this, something needs to happen for the magic to occur, for the cards to switch. So hold the cards in your hand, do something, do a snap, have the spectator rub, feel the heat, warm up the card, whatever it is. Take a peek and say, no, it didn't work yet, try harder. That's gonna make it feel like whatever they're doing is so important, and that's what's making the magic happen. It's not that the cards have already switched, it's that they have to do whatever they're gonna do, and that's what's gonna make the cards switch. Small subtlety, but super important. With Monty, you know, make it a game. You don't want them to cheat, right? So it's very important that you say this is a game, no cheating allowed. That'll, you know, make sure they don't turn over the cards prematurely when you've already switched them into kings. You're also gonna give them a chance to cheat. When you first set that ace of spades in their hand, you say, you know, would that be crazy if I changed it for the ace? And they'll say, yeah, that would. You say, okay, I'll let you take one look, just make sure. It'll still be the ace. And you'll say, okay, good. And now if they did cheat in this moment, you could say, hey, remember what I said, no cheating, but there's no stakes there because you haven't done a switch yet. One nice little idea for the plot is I think you can call back to Monty when you're doing Chicago opener, right? When you're at this final moment where the card is down on the table, you can say, you know, think back to a second ago where you had those 2 cards in your hands. You know, you were convinced they were the aces. You know what else I know you're convinced of right now? I'm sure you're convinced that that was your card. Like I said before, never gamble, never play with a magician, right? And you could do something like that. I think there's something really nice to call back to in these routines because they're similar, like I say, with the transpo. I think that's worth you guys experimenting with and giving a try. I think ultimately you'll find Chicago opener gets better reactions and probably is suited better as a closer, but I do think as a nice tip, that's something that's worth giving a try and experimenting with. Now, if you guys would like to learn some mind-blowing secrets on one of the tricks that I talked about in this video, go check out this video right here. You will be absolutely blown away. All right, guys, that is it from me. I hope you loved the brand new Repertoire series. Please let me know down in the comments below what you thought. If you have any ideas to improve this series, I'm always looking to improve it and make it tailored to your guys' needs even more. Please let me know what you thought. Would you perform the bang for your buck routine? I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop me a like. If you'd like to check out some private lessons or my mentalism membership, it's linked down in the description. And with all that said, guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.